This is your Wall Street wake-up call. Apple shares tanking after the tech giant posted its first decline in quarterly revenue since 2003. I'm joined now by Michael Ingram, a market analyst with BGC Partners in London. So, Michael, this slump in sales was largely because of a drop in iPhone revenue, but Apple still sold 51 million iPhones during the quarter. Now, that's about 10 million fewer than the same quarter last year, but any reasonable person looking at this would say that's pretty darn good.
Well, in absolute terms, the numbers are impressive, Scott. But the problem is this this stock has become so iconic for growth investors that even a break after 51 quarters of continuous growth is taken very badly. I mean, we were bracing ourselves for a weak first quarter. Something like 10% decline had been penciled in by analysts. In the event, it was a 30% decline. But I think what is probably weighing on investors' minds rather more is that this appears not to be a blip. It is, at the very least, a serious stumble because the company's own guidance for the second quarter suggests that analysts need to take the red pen out again for their numbers, maybe to the tune of 10 to 15%. So we're really leaving it until the second half of this year for Apple potentially to regain momentum. There's a lot of discussion about what kind of product launch they may have in the latter half of the year, with consensus being that actually it's likely to be quite lackluster. So, that may well fail to drive volume.
Right, and it's not necessarily that the company posted lower guidance, but it also posted guidance that missed expectations. So this begs the question, are Apple's best days behind it?
Well, Apple's been written off before, hasn't it? Quite famously, and look how far they've come since then. There is, however, a perception that the pace of innovation has slowed significantly, that the sort of products that are likely to come out with this year are likely to show a further increment, as indeed was the 6S over the 6. And actually, it's 2017 when we might see the next leap forward in smartphone technology, which may prompt existing and new consumers to actually sign up to their products. So this could be a pause rather than at the start of a collapse. But we really don't know. I am a little bit worried. The launch of the SE perhaps was a belated recognition that actually they're running out of people in which to sell premium kit, particularly against the backdrop of shaky economies.
So what's your take on the stock? I mean, Apple CEO Tim Cook was very positive on Apple's future, according to a few interviews after the earnings were released. But, the Apple Watch isn't showing the numbers it needs to. They are growing their services revenue, but that's just not that big part of a part of their business. So where is the stock going from here?
Well, you'd expect Tim Cook to be upbeat. He's massively talking his own book, isn't he? I mean, I think at the end of the day, analysts have to be confident that the company's going to turn in the numbers, and at the moment, their confidence has been seriously shaken. As I said, I mean, the smartphone segment seems to be, reaching saturation point. Some of the historic drivers, such as China, have stalled, and I think that's been exacerbated by the withdrawal of handset subsidies, and of course, they've got a number of homegrown competitors who are nibbling at their heels. So yeah, I think we need to see a significant product refresh before analysts can be confident that the growth momentum that we had seen until this point can be maintained.
All right, Michael Ingram, a market analyst with BGC Partners in London. Michael, thank you.
Pleasure.
I'm Scott Gam, and you're watching The Street.